Jeff Bezos came, Bill Gates came, Mark Zuckerberg came. Many of them came numerous times. The bankers have all come. Everybody's coming.
So please excuse my sarcastic tone. I'm a bit underwhelmed by the sample shown. Mr. Piss-Drunk fraternity guy, you got my asshole, bloodshot eyes. Get drunk and fight every night. Idolize Bradley, belittle women's rights. Homophobic, racist, and don't give a fucking hey. Do you think you can drive a bigger truck? So wear your baseball cap to the side to let everyone know that you're a nice guy. So cool, was so impressed. Lots of chicks in a barrel chest. Cause you're a real man. Punch for punch, gonna piss in your face while you're passed out drunk. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. She's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planets. Oh, I just can't understand it. Conquer divine by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, Sherlock! I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, Sherlock! Read into the lyrics, cause everybody gets their just desserts. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first. You're next on the list. Such a nice guy who speaks through his fists. Prick with the pension for messing with heads. A broken nose for dinner and breakfast in bed. Alcoholic, paranoid, and suicidal too. But you'll probably kill her before she gets away from you. Screws in a blue, let it cry. All your friends say that you're a nice guy. Have a drink, this one's on me. Look, you're doing fine, losing to your disease. Comatose, I'll pack your bags. Bury you like cats ready to gag. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. We're all nice guys, but all of you are assholes. He's a nice guy, she's a nice guy. Hey, Tom Bone's a nice guy. All of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planet. The public lamented. Conquer divine by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, Sherlock! I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, Sherlock! Read into the lyrics, so let the flaggies will quench your thirst. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first.
Everybody, welcome to the Plex. We do this show live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Pacific right here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/EchoPlex Media. You can support this project at patreon.com/EchoPlex or at eplex.store. If you're watching live here on Twitch, you know how the kind of fucked up monetization system works here. I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Blue Sky at Plex-Dave, getting on everybody's giant pre-block list. And we're here to remind you of one important thing, as always.
Everything's fine, and everything's fine, and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine, and everything's fine, and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine, and everything's fine, and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine, and everything's fine. I hope you have a traffic, the time, and the news. How's your commute? What do you do? Sorry I'm late, I kept hitting snooze. It's just one of those days. You know what they say. It is what it is. Ignorance is bliss. When it rains, it pours. Couldn't ask for more. What goes around comes around, all in good time. I guess that your guess is as good as mine. Everything's fine and everything's fine and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine and everything's fine and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine and everything's fine and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine and everything's fine. I hope you have a real nice day. Everything's fine and everything's fine and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine and everything's fine and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine and everything's fine and it's great. Thanks. Everything's fine and everything's fine. I hope you have a real nice day.
All right, everybody. So Donald Trump went to China, and I guess it it went the way that it went, I suppose. Uh-oh. Everybody, this is a live show. Hang on a second here. There we go. Okay. So it went how it went, but you know what Trump was excited about? The children, I guess.
Well, President Xi, I want to thank you very much. First of all, that was an honor like few have ever seen before. And I think I was particularly impressed by those children. They were happy. The military is obvious. It couldn't be better, but those children were amazing and they represent so much. And I know they represent so much to you.
The children were happy. Well, friend, this is an authoritarian regime and those children were fucking happy or else. Maybe Trump was impressed by that. He was probably more impressed by the or else part. So here's more of Trump. We're not going to do too much on this because it was kind of stupid, but here's Trump. I guess he's sort of excited to explain that there's fucking Chinese restaurants in the United States. Like, what a weird motherfucker.
Just as many Chinese now love basketball and blue jeans, Chinese restaurants in America today outnumber the 5 largest fast food chains in the United States, all combined. That's a pretty big statement.
All right, dude, he's really digging into the culture here. He's like, oh, we got Chinese restaurants. Friend, that's like Americanized Chinese food. Up next, we got Fox News. Fox News, the Law and Order crowd over at Fox News. I guess they just were parking illegally and like walking in traffic and shit over there. Oh man, this whole thing couldn't have gone any better, at least for my purposes. There you go.
In fact, our driver parked illegally for 2 minutes, and he got a message on his phone that he got a ticket for about $40 US because they saw it on the camera. Now, there are real questions what the CCP's goal is about citizen tracking and social scoring. They say it's to make everybody feel safe. These cameras are watching every minute. They're everywhere. And while they're watching us here in China, we hope you continue to watch. Special report from Beijing.
That's what these motherfuckers, they want this for America, though. Like, they love the flock cameras and shit. They want this for America. They're just mad that fucking the Chinese beat us to the fucking punch. Meanwhile, in the Senate, this is Senator Bernie Moreno, and I guess he's afraid of Chinese cars, Chinese electric cars. So he wants to put something in the Senate to make sure that we still can't have them.
10% of our entire economy is the auto industry. And worse, these are roving surveillance devices.
Right.
These things can be accessed remotely. They can be manipulated from Beijing. Imagine allowing these kinds of things all over our roads.
So, Senator, how would you enforce it? You block them from coming to America, obviously, but it also goes after the Canada loophole as well, where they go to Canada and then try to drive across the border.
Yeah, our bill completely hermetically seals the United States from any Chinese automobiles, not just the production, not just the importation, but all the way down the supply chain. I call it taking anti-cancer medication. We don't have cancer right here in America, and that's what these Chinese cars are. Hopefully our allies, Canada, Mexico, Latin America, Europe, starts to take some chemotherapy because they're getting clobbered. Germany just took out 1 million units of production because of Chinese infiltration into their market. They need to mirror what we're doing, but we're going to do it here first. We're going to make sure it never happens in America. It's finally time for Washington to be proactive and protect our industries and protect our American workers.
They're gonna have fucking they're gonna have ICE going around. They're gonna have fucking the border patrol being like, oh, that a Chinese car. I can't tell. Wait, that's a Kia. Is Kia Chinese? Get the fuck out of here. Oh man. I don't know, man. I've seen some of these Chinese cars look fucking great. They're like inexpensive. They seem like they just look, some of them look dope. Like, I don't know. I don't have a car, but I don't know. They look great. Why are they, I don't know. It's not like anybody's buying a fucking Chrysler. Anyway, I don't know, the war in Iran, which we already won. I don't know. Maybe we're going to restart it. Who knows?
And it's John here. I was just talking to General Prunaro about that very fact that the president said that he thinks that they're eventually going to fold. He doesn't know how long it's going to take, but he does seem to be quite comfortable at the moment to allow the Iranian regime to just kind of twist in the wind as its economy crumbles because of the American blockade. But he did say that he may reopen up this idea of Project Freedom and do it on an enhanced basis that might involve some more military action.
Well, the president, of course, is never one to rule out options for himself. He always possesses all options on the table. And look, that's why it's incredibly important, I think, for the Iranian regime, again, to recognize the dismal reality of their situation. Karg Island is overflowing. They are losing $500 million every single day because they can't transport oil anymore. As your last guest said, that is the bulk of their economy. So it is in Iran's best interest to get incredibly serious because the United States is interested only in a deal that is going to protect the long-term security of our country, that is going to eliminate this nuclear threat for good, and to put America first, as this president always does.
Anna, just
I feel like they're just waiting us out, right? They're not stupid over there. They know that this war is like incredibly unpopular among the American public, including a lot of fucking what used to be Trump's base. Remember all those people on fucking Twitter or whatever? They were like, oh yeah, well, if you don't vote for Trump, we're going to go to war with Iran. It's like, dude, these people, they fucking, yeah, I think Iran's just going to wait us out. After all, we've been at war with them for 47 years, according to Pete Hegseth. They've been attacking us for 47 years.
As it pertains to, I actually didn't get a chance to reply to Senator Durbin, who said that Iran was attacked by us. I would take issue with that. For 47 years, we've been attacked by Iran, and they've been lying to pursue a nuclear weapon, and President Trump had the courage to do something about it.
We've been attacking us for 47 years. Man, we've been meddling in their shit, just like everybody else's shit, for such a long time. They have a right to be mad at us. Up next, I guess Venezuela. We're thinking about Venezuela is going to be the 51st state, which is insane because I feel like they'd probably be inclined to vote for Democrats. I don't know that much about Venezuela, but the Republican Party is very unpopular around the world.
I was talking to the president this morning. It was just before the Oval Office event. He kind of surprised me a little bit because he said, John, I just want to tell you, I'm very serious about this. So you can talk about this. I'm serious about beginning a process to make Venezuela the 51st state. Now, there's a rich history in this nation of taking territories and absorbing them into the United States.
A rich nation, a rich history of taking territory. All right, dude.
States. You know, Puerto Rico is one that people talk about. But this would be the first time, to my knowledge, that a sovereign country was ever invited to join the United States of America. How would that work?
Invited. Invited to join the United States of America. Come on, dude. This is so fucking funny. Oh, they're being invited. I know, that's how I invite people to join me. I like kidnap whoever runs the show wherever they're at, and then I invite them to join me.
Well, John, I won't get ahead of what the president was comfortable sharing with you as far as those plans go. But look, this is a president who is famous for never accepting the status quo. He is always considering a host of options to improve our country. And of course, Venezuela, now led by President Delcy Rodriguez, is working incredibly cooperatively with the United States. So I won't get ahead of any plans that the president may have to that effect. But look, this has been a tremendous success. The United States revitalizing our relationship with Venezuela and in turn improving the economic situation of both countries and our people.
Anna, before you.
We're inviting them. This is so amazing. Oh man, it's like just like how if there's an arrest warrant, you've been invited to jail. It's an invitation. It's an invitation. Hey everybody, did you know that our president knows the difference between sea, like the ocean, and sea, like your vision? It's pretty impressive, actually. It's pretty good. I didn't know that he knew that.
And what a job our military and others are doing with respect, is that right, Paul, with respect to drugs coming in by sea, meaning drugs coming in by water, by the ocean, by the sea. A lot of people don't know what I mean by sea. They think I'm talking about vision. I'm not. I'm talking about sea, like the sea.
Oh, so one if by air, two if by sea. 3 if by vision. Like, what the fuck, dude? Here's Trump calling into CNBC to blabber about the ballroom. This is kind of a Trump heavy docket. I'm sorry, but that's just the way the fucking news has gone this week. Here he is. He's calling into this credulous fucking fool at CNBC that I keep seeing, and I don't know his name, and I'm not going to fucking learn this guy's name. But yeah, this guy's he's like some kind of credulous Trump idiot.
If this goes forward with Department of Justice and it delays him being confirmed, Kevin Warsh, it's kind of counterproductive for what you're trying to do in terms of changing the MO of the Fed up to this point. So I'm just trying to look for an off ramp to get. For you.
Well, it is and it isn't, Joe. You have to find out why a thing like that could happen, because if you have hundreds of projects like that, very few are like this, but if you had hundreds of projects like that, you have to find out why that happens. I mean, because we obviously don't do it right, but, we have some great people in government that can do jobs. I build under budget, ahead of schedule. I'm doing a ballroom now. It's a much bigger job than that. And it's going to cost, depending on finishes, like $300 million. It's a much bigger job than that's ahead of schedule. And I have lawsuits every week from all these people, all the do-gooders that stop progress in our country.
Well, but, I'm going to give Becky a chance, Mr. President, to get you to.
And you can have some extra time. I know my people said 20 minutes, but you can have some extra time.
Imagine fucking. Oh man, imagine what kind of sucker, what kind of sycophant do you have to be like, oh great, I get to talk to you on the phone longer during my television show that's supposed to be about business and investment. Kash Patel went to Congress. I was shown a lot of different clips, but I only picked 2. I don't have time for that shit. But here's two clips of Kash Patel in front of Congress.
Unlike your baseless reports, the only person that was slinging margaritas in El Salvador on the taxpayer dollar with a convicted gangbanging rapist was you. The only person that ran up a $7,000 bar tab in Washington, D.C. at the lobby bar was you. So the only individual in this room that has been drinking on taxpayer dime during the day is you.
Director Patel, come on. These are serious allegations that were made against you. They're in a lawsuit that you filed.
You drinking margaritas with a gangbanger is true and on video.
It just goes to show you
running a $7,000 bar tab at the lobby bar has been filed by your own office.
This goes to show
drink during the day. That's you. This is the ultimate example of hypocrisy.
Mr. Chairman,
I will not be tarnished by baseless allegations and fraudulent statements from the media.
The fact that you mentioned that indicates you don't know what you are talking about. Now, here, Director...
The only thing I know is you're the one drinking margaritas with felons.
Actually, that's a false statement, and I'm asking you about your statements.
I've answered that.
And I'm asking you about a particular report.
This guy just doesn't strike me as the kind of guy. I don't know anything about Mr. Van Hollen, but I'm guessing that he probably wasn't in El Salvador getting drunk with a bunch of fucking like cartel people or like gangbangers, as fucking Kash Patel said. I just don't think he's got the riz for that. I'm not saying that the dude isn't corrupt. Everybody's fucking corrupt in their own way. I'm just saying that dude don't got the riz to go drink and go get wasted with a bunch of gangbangers. Here's more of that interaction.
Have you had a chance to listen to or read about Brian Driscoll's statements about what you said to him and the reasons for his firing?
No, I have not, sir.
So let me just say this, Mr. Director. In your response to me earlier, where you had a little bit of a blow up, you made a couple provably false statements.
So did you.
No, Mr. Director, I was reading about and asking you to respond to allegations that are made. In fact, I was giving you an opportunity to do that, and you took that opportunity. But in the process, you made these provably false statements that I know are sort of like urban legend in right-wing media about margaritas in El Salvador, which is provably false. And so coming from the mouth of an FBI director to make provably false statements in a hearing like this is extremely troubling. And it leads me to ask whether or not the other things you've been saying are false statements. And so because that's a provably false statement. You made a couple others that are provably false. And this is from the mouth of the FBI director.
The only one that made false statements is you.
My final question to you, Mr. Director, is do you know that it is a crime to lie to Congress? Do you know that? That's my last question.
Look at, he's fucking tripping. He's all looking through his fucking binders and shit. I was like, what's all that noise? And he's just fucking digging through paperwork and shit. He's tripping.
I didn't ask you that.
Lied to Congress is you?
I'm not testifying here, sir, and I don't lie.
Maybe the next time you run up a $7,000 bar tab, we can talk about it.
Well, see, there you go, lying again. You suggested
in the FEC report. I'll post it right now.
You suggested it was public. It wasn't public money, as you know. That was for a 50-member staff party.
So it was a $7,000 bar tab.
Mr. Patel, I'm glad. Let me just say in closing, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, it was campaign money. It was money from his campaign. It was for like the people that worked on his campaign. He threw a fucking party at a nice place for the people that worked on his campaign. That is not taxpayer money. It might be a little out of touch. Spend seven grand on 50 people, but it's not taxpayer money.
Two things. I'm glad that you have agreed to take the test regarding, whether you have alcohol problems. I'm glad you agreed with me to do that. You still haven't answered my final question. Do you know, Mr. Director, that it is a crime to lie to Congress? Do you know that?
I do not lie to Congress.
I didn't ask you that.
And you're insinuating that I am.
I asked you whether you know.
You want to correct your time in this session where you got steamrolled by the facts so you can have a Twitter narrative.
Mr. Director.
Raise more money. On $7,000
just let the record show, Mr. Chairman. The director of the FBI apparently does not want to answer the question about whether or not it's a crime to lie to Congress, and I find that extremely troubling.
I find it troubling that you lie to the American people every day.
You are a disgrace, Mr. Director.
Not nearly as big as you.
The fact that you can't answer that question, I will. That concludes my.
So $7,000 on 50 people is just like a little over $100 a person. So if that's like at a nice restaurant or whatever, that's like what we spend per capita. Like if we take my mother out for her birthday, if we go somewhere nice, or if we go somewhere nice for my birthday, he took them to a nice place, probably had dinner and drinks. If it was just drinks, then that fucking ruled, except they were probably at a place where drinks were $22 a pop plus tips. So again, you're looking at 5 or 6 drinks a person. It may seem a little out of touch, but this wasn't taxpayer money. It was like campaign money. And that's one of the things you can legally spend campaign money on is events for your staff. Here's Senator Cassidy, who lost his primary. And I think he lost his primary because his ass kissing to the Trump administration, as you're going to see in this clip, it didn't work. He could have at least gone down swinging, but instead he went down with a whimper.
Right. According to CNN's reporting, White House officials decided earlier this year that HHS under Secretary Kennedy required an overhaul following a tumultuous period marked by controversial vaccine policies, personnel issues, and messaging missteps that hurt the administration with voters and with lawmakers. You were the key vote in advancing and effectively sealing Kennedy's nomination. Do you have any buyer's remorse now?
First, you live life forward. But RFK has done a very good job highlighting the issues of ultra-processed food. And even his worst...
So ultra-processed food is a term for which there is really no definition.
I just saw you nod your head yes. I'm not saying you're his worst critic, but you will acknowledge, and we all acknowledge, he's done a really good job.
It's been a priority of his,
that.
for sure. It's been a priority. Absolutely. That's a fact.
More so than anybody else in that office. So he's to be congratulated. He and I clearly differ on vaccines. I have seen people die from vaccine preventable diseases, or have to get a liver transplant, or otherwise something terrible, or something that could have been avoided with a $15 vaccine. And so obviously I understand that better than the secretary. And so we've differed there. But let's give him his due. He's done a good job on the ultra-processed foods, and that's important for our society.
But
is bread an ultra-processed food? Because you got to make the flour, that's a process. And then you got to fucking refine the sugar, that's a process. You got yeast. I'm a trad wife now. I make my own bread. It's a process. So I don't think ultra-processed food fucking means anything. I think it's a fucking useless term. Some, like, bread is, it's got a lot of carbs and it's not great for people with diabetes or whatever, but it's, it's generally thought of as good for you. So I don't know. Anyway, here's Gorka going after little Nikki Fuentes and Tucker Carlson. Shit's going bad when they have to fucking bust out Sebastian Gorka. It's like, man, this guy just shows up like a fucking horde of cicadas. Like every 4 years, every 3 or 4 years, this guy just shows back up. That's sort of like Jill Stein when the election happens.
I'm not sure that Nick Fuentes or Tucker Carlson are conservatives. If you are lauding a Sharia law, if you are saying that there are Muslim states that seem to be better qualitatively than America in terms of freedom and prosperity, I'm not sure that means you're part of the conservative movement. So if you remove those individuals and you understand that they're not conservatives, what's left?
So not to defend Tucker Carlson, but he was sort of snarkily saying, oh, maybe New York could use some of that old Sharia law. He was probably talking about fucking Mamdani or something, right? Oh, New York's got all these problems. Maybe they should impose Sharia law. It was something like that. That's sarcasm. I mean, Tucker's not funny and he's a piece of shit, but that's sarcasm. Like these people, I guess they don't like sarcasm. I don't know. They're probably not good at it. Up next, apparently, Representative Andy Ogle's kids are afraid Biden is going to come get their dad. Big bad Biden is going to come fucking disappear dad. Like the fucking what? Like watch this.
The department has agreed to return your cell phone and destroy the personal data obtained from it after the Biden-led FBI seized your phone back in August of 2024. I know you're going to share your personal story of mass surveillance under Biden with other members of Congress who were also spied on, and you told us a little about it. What happened?
Well, I mean, it matters who leads. And so under President Trump, under this Department of Justice, starting with Bondi, now Todd Blanche, we're getting back to the idea of law and order. And so Biden weaponized the government against the American people, against members of Congress. I wasn't the only one. You look at Congressman Scott Perry, you look at Arctic Frost, you look at the senators that were targeted. They were spying on members of Congress, which is a violation of the United States Constitution. You have the speech and debate clause, which is very clear. And so this is a caution and a wake-up call to the American people that we must have control over the U.S. government, and it can't be spying on us.
So
you.
They just came over to you and said, Congressman, give me your phone?
Yes, ma'am. And so I turned it over. I spent the last 2 years working with the DOJ, clearing my name. It's taken 2 years. And quite frankly, the impact that has on your family, my little one still has nightmares, afraid that his dad's going to be taken away by big bad Biden and his Department of Justice.
What was the answer to coming over to you in the middle of your private family time and demanding your phone? Why did they do that?
Well, had an FEC violation, which is a civil issue, which we fixed, by the way, and they tried to turn it into a criminal case. But I had gone after Jack Smith. I had issued articles of impeachment against Kamala Harris, and this was 2 weeks later, they're coming after me. And so this is what the Biden DOJ did to me, to other members of Congress, to senators, and to the American people.
Unbelievable. Andy,
So there was an FEC, that's Federal Elections Commission, investigation, probably into like how he funded his campaign, I'm guessing. And they needed his phone for the investigation. They needed the contents of his phone. Now you might disagree that, maybe they shouldn't be taking people's phones and shit. I don't know. That's up to you. But that's just normal in an investigation. They're going to look at what's on your electronic devices. Anyway, here's Jim Jordan. I got Gymnasium Jordan. I got 2 clips of Gymnasium Jordan from CNN. He's real dumb.
You're saying gas prices went up under Biden, and I criticized it then because I didn't like why they were going up. I mean, they're going up a lot under this president that you supported, but you're just saying it's for the right reason in your view.
Yeah, and it's for a reason that he told the American people he was going to do. One thing I know about this president, unlike so many other people in elective office, when this president says something, he does what he said. He said he would cut taxes, he did. He said he would secure the border, he did. He said he would make sure Iran didn't get a nuclear weapon, and he's going about doing that. And thank goodness he's got the courage and the toughness and the willingness to do what he said, when most of the other all the other presidents for 47 years wouldn't do it, but this guy will.
What about his promise in 2024 that if he was reelected, gas would be under $2 a gallon because of his policies?
Well, gas prices were coming down until we had to deal with this situation. But, that's life. That's dealing with world and the world we live in. I think the country gets the fundamental fact, and I know I understand this, President Trump makes decisions that are in the best interest of our nation. 250 years, greatest country in history. He makes decisions that are going to help our country and the long-term security and safety of the people he has and I think you want a commander-in-chief like that. You want a commander-in-chief who's willing to do tough things that he knows are good for us, all of your viewers, everyone in this country, and frankly, everyone around the world. It is good if Iran doesn't get a nuclear weapon.
But if someone's listening to you and they were paying $2.98 a gallon of gas before the war started, and now they're paying $4.53, I mean, saying that's life might not, make them feel better when they're filling up their car.
Those are your words, not mine. I'm saying.
No, you said that's life just now.
No, those are the words you just fucking said. Oh, those are your words, not mine. No, actually, we just watched you say those words. Like, those are your words. You just said them like a minute ago.
This is the situation. They were pursuing a nuclear weapon. They wanted to get there. President Trump said, I'm not going to do that. He ran on that, and he's taken the appropriate action that I think you want your commander-in-chief to take for the security and safety of America.
But he also ran on bringing gas prices to under $2 a gallon. I mean, are voters supposed to look at that and say which one is?
Hopefully we'll get there soon. I want gas prices low too. I mean, we all want gas prices low. Who doesn't, for goodness sake? But we also don't want Iran to get a nuclear weapon. And I think the country's smart. They understand that decisions have to be made. Let's focus on getting those gas prices down as quickly and as fast as we can. But let's also focus on making sure that this regime, who was willing to hang a 19-year-old star athlete in their country, willing to do that, let's make sure they don't have a nuclear weapon.
You said that's life. I was just quoting what you said a second ago. Those were not my words. Those were your words.
No, I'm not saying that's life.
He's like, that is what I said, but also not what I said. And how dare you say that I said what I said, because it's what I said, but it's also not what I said.
life sometimes throws things at you that you didn't anticipate, and you have to deal with it, and you want a commander-in-chief who will deal with it and deal with it in a way that is focused on the safety of the people he was elected to serve and protect.
How fucking embarrassing. So not for nothing, I was really worried about, I think her name's Erin Burnett. I think she came from Tucker Carlson's rag, right? She came from the Daily Caller. And I was like real worried about her when she went into CNN, and she does a really good job. She's one of the only fucking people that like is asks any of these people like any difficult questions and like doesn't back down to them and doesn't like kowtow and doesn't like seem to be seeking access above all. I'm fairly impressed with her. Here's more of that exchange between her and Gymnasium Jordan.
The president was asked about this as he was departing the White House for China, and this is what he told reporters about that.
Mr. President, to what extent are Americans' financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. That's all.
Even if you agree with the war, and you clearly do, is he not minimizing what Americans are feeling because of the war?
No, come on, Caitlin. This is a president who did the largest tax cut in American history, letting American families keep more of their money. Of course he cares about them having the revenue.
Dude, that tax cut went to fucking rich people, like they always do.
And affordability concern. This is the president who said we should suspend the gas tax to help families deal with the price they're paying for fuel at the pump today. So, of course he cares about that.
The most gas taxes are imposed by the states, not by the federal government. At least here in California. I don't know how it is in other states.
Like I care about this, just like we all care about that. But he also cares about making sure this country long-term is safe. And again, I've said it several times, I think that's what you want in a president. That's what you want in a commander-in-chief. That's what you want in your leader. As the chief executive of the executive branch of our government, that's what you want. So I think you can be focused on all that, try to help on all that, but you have to deal with this threat that is imminent, according to the Secretary of State, according to the president. They were close to getting this capability, and that's why he took the action he did.
Fucking like Jesus coming back, right? You know how Jesus has been coming back forever. It's the same fucking thing. Iran's going to get a nuclear weapon. They've been saying that shit since fucking as far as back as like 1982, I think is the fucking first time that I forget who was reporting on it, that they saw that was what everybody was saying about Iran. So like, whatever, dude. Also, like, I just feel like maybe America, after having dropped not one, but two of those things on civilian populations, maybe we shouldn't be the ones running around telling everybody else whether or not they can have that shit. Seems a little weird. So we don't do a lot of these, but this C-SPAN caller here kind of rules. I don't know who Representative Haridopoulos is or Haridopoulos, but he's a Republican from Florida, so I assume he's a piece of shit. And this C-SPAN caller is going to give him what for?
We'll go to Roger, Lawrenceville, Georgia, an independent.
Good morning.
Morning,
Congressman,
Roger.
you're smart. Good morning. I know you're a smart guy, former educator. Why do you guys continue to parrot Trump's crazy Fox News talking points when I know you have to know right from wrong? There's just no way everyone.
Well, give us an
over
example, Roger. Give us a specific example.
For example, the 9% inflation under Biden. You know that was COVID. Like, come on. Gas prices. Presidents don't affect gas prices unless they're stupid enough to start a war in the Middle East. Okay? So Trump, Biden, neither one of them controlled it. It had to do with starting wars, and that's why we're dealing with these gas prices. And you know your own intelligence said there was no way they were close to a nuclear weapon, but yet you come on TV and you say the same thing, and you guys only find a spine when you're saying you're going to retire. Come on. I know you have to know better.
Well, let's
Please,
get a
be
response.
better.
Congressman Haridopoulos.
Well, it's always nice to have strong opinions. They might not be backed up with fact, but it's nice to have some strong opinions. Look, all I can say is gas prices went down dramatically because we're producing more oil. We're creating those new opportunities around the world. Venezuela is going to help us in the long term. But the threat of Iran is real. And you don't have to listen to me or President Trump, Roger. Listen to people like the senator from Connecticut. The Democrat, Murphy, was talking about this very issue just a few months ago. People on MSNBC were saying that the president wasn't tough enough on Iran. Now they're switching lanes. It's called politics. We really believe that a nuclear Iran is a true threat. They obviously were trying to upgrade their uranium to create a weapon, and they've been lying for years now as we found out that they have the ability to fire missiles over 2,000 miles away. I consider that a major threat, where it's a short-term challenge, but it'll be a long-term success for America and the world if we take these folks out of the ability to project power.
Well,
I mean, my take is that for all intents and purposes, Iran was over there minding their own fucking business. I mean, they're fucking bad, like whatever. They're not like a good regime where people have like a lot of freedom and shit, but they were over there more or less minding their own fucking business. This is all bullshit. I don't know. I just wish this country was like less warlike. Like, I thought the point of like if you're going to say that there's a reason to have like this bloated military, I thought maybe the point of it is that you never use it, right? That you have this bloated military so that nobody fucks with you. But then that doesn't really work, because Iran, they weren't fucking with us. They weren't doing shit. They weren't doing shit to anybody. And like they had problems with protests, but like we fucking kill protesters here too. So I don't know. They weren't doing nothing to us. Anyway, up next we have MAGA Congresswoman Virginia Fox versus a 10-year-old. I'm not kidding. Shout out to whoever put this in the Discord. I think it was Allie Drew.
2038 is only 12 years away, and you and your classmates will be responsible for the debt.
A message from Republican North Carolina Congresswoman Virginia Fox that was sent to 10-year-old Christian Mango. Christian says certain words.
Yeah, that kid looks just like my nephew.
I could understand like half of it, not all of it.
His mother, Emily Mango, says the reply from Fox was in regards to an assignment from Christian's teacher at Canterbury School in Greensboro.
Christian and his class, they're in fourth grade, they wrote a persuasive essay of their choosing, and they mailed it off to a representative, a CEO, whoever the decision maker was that could be influential in hearing their persuasive essay points.
Christian says the topic he chose.
We should have a $5,000 tax rebate for electric cars because they're better than normal cars. They're better for the environment.
But this is just because his mom and dad own Teslas, right? I mean, whatever. The kid's 10. The fuck is the representative doing, like fucking writing back like a nasty gram to a fucking 10-year-old? Like.
Less, and there's no gas.
Christian says in April he mailed the essay to Fox in a Canterbury school envelope with fourth grade on the return address. A few weeks later, the school received this letter from Representative Fox via email, while the Congresswoman
you write back and you just say, oh, well, thanks for the letter. I'm really glad that you and your class are, civically engaged, and these are complicated issues, and thanks for the letter. Like, come on.
Her, she disagreed with his proposal. Fox cited 6 articles from news organizations such as Fox News and Wall Street Journal. But towards the end of her response, she attacked Christian's teacher.
Ask your teacher to explain propaganda to you, but I will never be able to know. My guess is that your teacher will not be able to give you a good educational experience by helping you to be able to think as they are too interested in indoctrinating you. How sad.
After Christian's mother explained to him what Fox's response meant, the 10-year-old says he's upset Fox went after his teacher when Christian was the one who chose the topic of his essay.
I think that was wrong.
And why?
Because the school didn't do anything.
Emily Mango slammed Fox's response on social media and is now demanding an apology.
Hell yeah, dude, that kid was like, this is my idea. The school didn't do this. You just whatever was going to happen before, you just turn that kid into a fucking Democrat. In fucking 8 years, that kid is going to vote for Democrats. What a horrible fucking person. What a horrible fucking, again, you just write back, and if you write back at all, you just write and you thank the kid. You thank the kid for being, interested in these issues, and say these are, tax policy and energy policy are important issues. And I'm glad to see young people trying, doing their best to learn about these things. And maybe one day you can run for Congress. Like, fucking be nice. As a 10-year-old gets a 4th grader. Be nice. Be nice to the 4th grader. Like, what the fuck? All right. Here's Jesse Waters on black people voting, I guess. I don't know. I think Jesse Waters is probably not going to be as bad as that fucking teacher. Here you go.
Canada, if you were wondering where I'm talking
Or
about, they're
Venezuela.
doing a little bit of a secessionist vote. I did some research on the blacks, as Judge Janine so eloquently would say. The solution to Hakeem's problem, this gay Obama, is baby making. Blacks, for 150 years, have only represented 10 to 15% of the American population. Okay? That's not that much. So if they want to have more seats, they got to get in between the sheets. The Spanish, they're coming north. They're having tons of kids. And at this point, they have almost the same amount of House seats as blacks. The Hispanic caucus is almost as big as the Black Caucus. So if you guys need to solve that problem,
I'm not arguing for
you
more,
know what you need to do.
I'm not arguing for more black congressmen. I'm arguing just don't draw the districts to advantage of party.
No, you're just discriminating against whites. That was an all-black district.
I'm discriminating.
We want to be in that district.
You think I'm discriminating against
we
my
don't
kids?
support
Am I
segregation.
discriminating against my kids?
No, it's not a blacks only. It's whites only. We have a, very diverse district now.
Julian.
I mean, I got nothing. I usually don't have nothing. I got nothing. I'm sorry. I got nothing. Up next, we got a couple palate cleansers here. This one is about self-driving cars. They just sort of circled a cul-de-sac for a while with no passengers. I think maybe these cars are starting their own religion. Who knows?
Video here captured several of the self-driving cars just clogging up a neighborhood cul-de-sac. The people living in the Northwest Atlanta neighborhood say dozens end up circling their community. Channel 2 Steve Gelbach is on one street where they want the Waymos to stop.
It's almost every little cul-de-sac around our area, so I think it's a real problem.
Waymo after Waymo after Waymo enter this dead-end street, usually early in the morning.
I think yesterday morning we had 50 cars that came through between 6 and 7.
Neighbors on Battleview Drive started seeing the autonomous, driverless cars 2 months ago, but the groupings and large number of Waymos just started circling in and out in the last couple weeks. They even shared video with us when neighbors used this little guy to put him right out here in the street to block the Waymos from getting into the cul-de-sac, and you can imagine
1.8 Waymos that were stuck trying to figure out how to turn around.
The Waymos are empty and not picking anyone up.
Man, that Waymo is probably going to sue those fucking people for fucking putting that thing in the road. Watch.
Are worried, not only calling it excessive, but dangerous.
We're families, we have small kids, we have animals and pets, we've got kids getting on the bus in the mornings, and it just doesn't feel safe to have that traffic.
Neighbors reached out to Waymo and have not got a response. They've also contacted their council member, representatives, and GDOT and don't know what to do.
We would just like to see them stay on main traffic roads. I don't think there's any reason to be on small residential cul-de-sacs if they're not picking up somebody.
Steve Gelbach, Channel 2 Action News.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. Like, why? What the fuck is this? Why are they there? It doesn't make any sense. They're like, if they're, I think they're electric cars, but they're wasted. Can't they just park somewhere if they're like not doing anything? I don't know. Maybe they're starting a religion though. Who knows? Maybe it's a religion. Maybe this is a ritual that they do. They like go into like suburban neighborhoods where people have live, laugh, love cutlery or live, laugh, love dinnerware, and they just circle around because they, it's just their religion. Anyway, I called this next story. It says, I just met you. This might sound crazy. My glasses doxed you. So, don't punch me, maybe. This is about fucking smart glasses.
We built glasses that let you identify anybody on the street. The information our tool collects from just a photo of your face is staggering.
To use it, you just put the glasses on, then as you walk by people, the glasses will detect when somebody's face is in frame. This photo is used to analyze them, and after a few seconds, their personal information pops up on your phone.
Oh, this is me volunteering.
June Lee, right?
Yeah. Oh my god.
This
photo was great. This is like from
You're from Bergen County Academies?
Yeah.
Your Korean name is Ju-eun?
This is absolutely not funny.
Oh, hi, ma'am. Wait, are you Betsy?
Oh, hell no. Oh, dude, dude, I fucking listen. I'm against violence, but if that lady just gets up and fucking punches this guy in the nose, you know, I mean, she'd probably go to jail for assault and battery or whatever, but you know, it's understandable.
Oh, okay. I think I met you through like the Cambridge Community Foundation, right? Yeah. It's great to meet you. I'm Kane.
No, fuck this.
Oh, do you happen to be the person working on like minority stuff for like Muslims in India at all or something?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Are you Kashif?
Yes.
Oh, I've read your work before. It's super cool. I'm Anfu. Nice to meet you. Oh, I love.
Anfu, get in frame.
Oh, okay. But are you Sarah Chan?
No.
We stream the video from the glasses straight to Instagram and have a computer program monitor the stream. We use AI to detect when we're looking at someone's face. Then we scour the internet to find more pictures of that person. Finally, we use data sources like online articles and voter registration databases to figure out their name, phone number, home address, and relatives' names. And it's all fed back to an app we wrote on our phone.
Using our glasses, we were able to identify dozens of people, including Harvard students, without them ever even knowing. Here's some of our favorites.
My aunt was Secretary of Transportation. That was like when she was getting.
Wait, what's her aunt's name?
Elaine Chow.
Yeah, okay.
Is your address 4 Valley?
Yeah.
Atlanta, Georgia, 303. Is
oh my God. Yes. Not anything, but yes.
also attended Yale's Young Global Scholar Summer Program, right? Really?
Yeah, these are me in like middle school.
Oh my God. What about John and Susan? Are they your
Those are my parents.
parents? Okay, cool. Is that you?
I told you there's so much.
Is that you?
Oh yes.
Oh my God.
I would imagine they had some negative interactions about this, right? If they were just going around to like random people, either like in the fucking at the transit center or on campus, I would imagine they had some people with some fairly negative reactions to this, but maybe they didn't post those. Because I would be like, don't you do that? Don't ever do that again. In fact, you know what? I think that guy's at Harvard. I think that guy should come to fucking Oakland and do that. You'd have a interesting cultural experience. Good Lord. Up next, Kevin O'Leary versus these two gals who are obviously Chinese fucking agents. Kevin O'Leary wants to build with a 40 million acre data center somewhere in Utah or some shit. Apparently the two looks like young women who are opposing him are Chinese agents.
Elevate Strategies, also a cell operating inside of Utah. Gabby Finlayson. Gabby, what are you doing? And who's paying you?
Well, hi, hello. It's me, Gabby Finlayson. What am I doing? Apparently, we've reached the part of the Stratos data center journey where Kevin O'Leary goes on national Fox News to accuse us of being cells for the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, who would want us to stop building our electrical grid? Which adversary would want that? There's only one. It's China. So what I think is happening, and I got my guys to go a deep dig into the IP addresses, and here's what we found out. This is fascinating. We found
deep dig into the, where did the deep dig into the IP addresses? No, dude, you probably used those fucking glasses that we saw in the last clip. You didn't get their IP address. Shut the fuck up.
Elevate Strategies. Gabby Finlayson. Gabby, what are you doing? And who's paying you? So what I'm doing right now is, after getting this data, I'm calling out Gabby, operating in Utah.
So, hi Kevin, we are Elevate Strategies. This is Utah. You might not know it because you're from Canada. This is where we live. Before we get into anything too serious, this is the very scary, very intimidating man that is threatening us. We are not taking the criticism of anyone who is wearing flip-flops and a suit on national. You get called out by first and last name on Fox News by a Canadian billionaire trying to ruin my state, but here we are. Kevin, are you okay? But after sitting with this for a moment, we decided to take it as a compliment because, first of all, how are these men scared of us? Have you met us? Hi. What are we talking about?
I want a forensic audit of who's funding their platforms. Who is it? So these are proxies for the Chinese government's my argument. And if they're not, because I want them to be able to defend their name to Gabby, come out wherever you are.
Okay, Kevin, go ahead. Mr. Wonderful's Nancy Drew little detective agency, have at it, brother, because if we were Chinese operatives, we would be the worst operatives in the entire world. Someone alert Beijing that the payment portal to Jackie and I's Amex bills is somehow broken. As a reminder, we run Democratic campaigns in the state of Utah. If we were in this to be making money, we would be doing literally anything else. And you should know that because your job is to give small business owners advice. Yeah, you'd think that Kevin would understand the hellscape that is late stage capitalism and consumerism that has led to you becoming a terrible, horrible billionaire who's trying to ruin our state. But if we're talking about audits, we should be auditing the Stratos Project. We should be auditing all of the politicians that, I don't know, do you have property surrounding the Stratos Project? Or maybe do you have interests that you were changing the laws before this was created? Hypothetically. We're just saying we should maybe look into people that stand to make hundreds of millions of dollars off this project, and let's be so for real and so clear, that is not us. It is not us. But sure, let's do the thing that all men who are scared and have no actual facts do, which is accuse women who have a fully formed thought of being the problem and being Chinese operatives, just like made funny. Like, what are we talking about? How are we making this video right now? Like, it's so unserious.
I fucking love them. Oh, poor. I mean, they probably got harassed, but they seem to be taking it pretty well. They're having a little bit of fun with it, which is good. Up next, we got, this is in the category we're going to call Always Boo These Motherfuckers. This is former Google CEO Eric Schmidt gave a commencement speech at the University of Arizona, and it did not go as he would have hoped, although he should have expected this.
Architects of artificial intelligence. Interesting. You will help shape artificial intelligence. We do not know the precise contours. If you'd let me make this point, please. If you don't care about science, that's okay, because AI is going to touch everything else as well. Whatever path you choose, AI will become part of how work is done. You can now assemble a team of AI agents to help you with the parts that you could never accomplish on your own. When someone offers you a seat on the rocket ship, you do not ask which seat. You just get on. The rocket ship is here. Let me give you some advice. First, find a way to say yes. Listen. You bring the judgment.
Fucking get him. Fucking get him. Also the low quality cell phone video that they used here isn't doing the dude any favors, right? But like, dude, they hate this shit. You all have been running around telling young people and everybody else, but I feel like the people who have just graduating at university are probably the most upset about this, that you are going to eliminate their jobs with AI. You're going to eliminate their future job prospects, be they in the humanities or the sciences, or possibly going into education themselves. People getting people, maybe if this was for like undergrad people, pre-law that are going to maybe go on to law school. You've been running around telling all these people that the fucking robot clanker is going to eat their job. And then you go up there and be like, hey, everybody, we've been telling you all this crazy shit about AI. So let's rah for AI. And then they all boo you. People hate this stuff. The underlying technology isn't that bad. There's nothing necessarily wrong with it. It's just that like the people that are running it are ghouls. It's interesting technology from a scientific standpoint. It's losing all these companies a bunch of money, so I'm fucking here for that. Except that it's also making it so that I wake up every morning and turn on my fucking computer terrified that I'm going to get that fucking beep code that says my memory is bad, and then I'm going to go try to find fucking memory or something. It's going to be like $400 to replace the 64 gigs of DDR4 in my fucking computer or whatever. Anyway, we'll compare and contrast that to, I I think Woke 2.0 is starting, and I think we might actually have the initial. This might be the place where we will look at in the future to say when Woke 2.0 started, and it's Charles Barkley, actually.
They were just two really good one really good basketball player. His brother is now, he was just an unbelievable, like the guy said, soul and understanding what that moment was. And you say 13 years ago, say, well, what's the big deal if somebody said that they're, openly gay? What's the big deal? Well, 13 years ago was a big deal. Mm-hmm. And the reason why it doesn't feel as big now at times is because of people like him. And so, kudos to him.
Yeah, but Kenny, in fairness now, if another guy did it, it would still be a big deal because we live in a homophobic society. And that's unfortunate. That's why, first of all, anybody who think we ain't got a bunch of gay players in all sports, they're just stupid. But there is such animosity toward the gay community, and that's what's really unfortunate. But anybody think him, and I know a couple other soccer players that came out, if you think there are not more gay players in the NFL, Major League Baseball, and the NBA, you're just stupid.
I didn't know Jay very well, but on the occasions where I would see him at certain events, guy was just nice. He was just a gentleman.
Yes.
And a guy firm in his beliefs, and a guy who really, through his words and through his actions, has told us all, you don't have to live in the shadows.
No, you do not.
And he said, your life is so much better when you just show up as your true self.
God damn. Remember, everybody used to think Charles Barkley was this conservative kind of asshole guy or whatever. He's like, pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Nah. Charles Barkley is the leader of Woke 2.0. And we will, we'll follow him. We will go into war, the Woke 2.0 war, with Charles Barkley as our leader. I'm okay with that. Up next is Tiny Dancer Ben. We did a little bit on him last night for Catterday, and he was just mad at the haters or whatever. But here he's this is more kind of standard Ben Shapiro talking about retirement and how you should not retire.
And let's be real about this. It's insane that we haven't raised the retirement age in the United States. It's totally crazy. Joe Biden, if that were the case, Joe Biden should not be running for president. Hey, Joe Biden is 81 years old. The retirement age in the United States at which you start to receive Social Security and you are eligible for Medicare is 65. Joe Biden has technically been eligible for Social Security and Medicare for 16 years, and he wants to continue in office until he is 86, which is 19 years past when he would be eligible for retirement.
Wait, this is old. This isn't from this week. Fucking sorry about that, because this is when Joe Biden was in office. But anyway, Ben Shapiro doesn't think you should retire, but this is a weekly news show. This is what happens. Anyway, that was old. Sorry about that. Up next, anybody remember when COVID was all over the news and people were getting sick and people were dying and shit? And it was a struggle for all of us. Well, do you know what the worst part of it was? Well, this is what the worst part of it was.
One of the most disappointing things from COVID was seeing Americans freely give up their God-given rights to bureaucrats who were lying to them every step of the way, and they lied to us every step of the way. You go back to April 2020 when we started seeing some of these antibody studies showing us that the fatality rate was significantly less than we were being told. Our government could have done that and given us the truth. They did not. And then you go to October of 2020 and you had the Great Barrington Declaration, and you had these renowned scientists telling us that these lockdowns weren't working, that they were causing more harm than good, yet we didn't listen. And then you get to vaccines.
Oh, the Great Barrington Declaration. Those people are kooks, cranks. This is this argument. It's like the argument from authority, but not from like the scientific consensus authority. It's like argument from pick your favorite authority, the one that agrees with you.
July of 2021, there was an outbreak in Provincetown, Massachusetts, where something like 75% of the cases were the vaccinated. So we knew that the vaccines were not stopping transmission yet.
That's insane, because fucking everybody was, once everybody's vaccinated or you have a high vaccination rate, all the cases are going to be among the vaccinated. Yeah.
Joe Biden went on the stage at CNN at a town hall and lied to Americans and said you would not get COVID if you got the vaccine. So every single step of the way, we were lied to, and Republicans are trying to get some accountability so we never experience a painful period like that again.
So the worst thing, again, the bad thing about COVID wasn't that like people died and people got extremely sick and healthcare workers had to deal with like this horrible pandemic with like limited resources. None of that. The problem is that sometimes they got it wrong and you were told to fucking, I don't know, wear a mask and get a vaccine. The vaccine it didn't prevent infection. It prevented you from getting really sick, and by preventing you from getting really sick, it had downward pressure on your ability to transmit, because with a respiratory disease like COVID, the symptoms are one of the ways you fucking spread it, right? If you're not coughing all over the fucking place, then you're not going to give the thing to anybody, or you're less likely to because you're not coughing all over the place. Anyway, an anti-vax dating event in Denver was canceled after people found out there was an anti-vax dating event in Denver and didn't like it.
Denver is full of singles looking for love, hoping for a shot. For singles opposed to a shot, there was an anti-vaxxer dating event scheduled for later this month until it was canceled today by a popular bar. Recess Beer Garden in Lohi says they were not consulted by the organizers from the dating platform Unjected. Dating site, except you know what you're going to talk about for the entire date. Unjected's founders describe it as, quote, the world's first COVID-19 unvaccinated dating platform, where users can opt for an official upgrade from simply their partner's promise that they didn't get vaccinated to actually getting a signed affidavit through the site. Unjected's going on a national tour inviting singles who oppose vaccines, not just the COVID shot, to meet up and perhaps swap droplets if all goes well. But after word of this event started spreading like a vaccine-preventable illness, a spokesperson for Recess says the event is off. The bar says the organizers didn't follow their policies for hosting large events and also cited escalating safety concerns.
Fuck yeah. The bar. Oh man, although that would have been a fun thing to go to, right? Like to send as an independent journalist of a type myself, I'd have gone there. I'd have worn a mask, and it would have pissed everyone off. I'd have just simply worn a mask. Everybody would have been fucking so mad, and probably tried to tell the bartender to kick me out for wearing a mask and shit. It would have been amazing. Anyway, here's Dr. Oz, who is apparently an important person in the government. We can thank Oprah for that. 1 in 3 Americans are underbabied.
Okay, go ahead. So let me speak a little bit about the reality that 1 in 3 Americans are underbabied. What does underbabied mean? That means that you either don't have any children or you have less children than you would normally want to have. And to Katie's point, we have a crisis that's causing our fertility rate to drop below 1.5. The replacement rate is 2.1. So we're way below what we need just to replace the people that we have in America. And
counterpoint, I don't like Americans mostly, and like there should be less of us. I'm not saying we should fucking murder a bunch of people, but if people aren't having enough kids, there might be a reason for that, actually. I think the reasons for that could be economic, right? There could be, it's difficult to have children, right? Like my sister has a kid, and I don't think she plans on having another kid. It's just, she has a good job too. It's just expensive to have a kid and time consuming, and they don't make it easy on you. But it could also be that the men in the 1970s had fucking really good sperm, and we just don't have really good sperm anymore.
The fertility crisis for women began in 2007. For men in 1970, men had twice the sperm count as our teenagers do today. This is an existential crisis for our country.
I told you, fucking, this is that 70s sperm. It was that 70s sperm. I don't know. Maybe them 70s bushes they had in the porn like made men produce more sperm. I don't know. I'm not an expert on any of this. This is fucking straight. That's straight people. That shit's disgusting. Here's more of Dr. Oz. We're going to have some Trump babies. Trump baby for everyone. This pronatalist shit is so fucking dumb. It's so dumb. I don't know if people listen to the podcast. I forget what it's called now. It's a podcast about pronatalism. I forget the name of it. It's really good, though.
They're private companies who are now taking advantage of the whole group.
Oh, the podcast I'm talking about is Ill-Conceived.
They're private companies who are now taking advantage of the whole group of individuals who can get access to fertility medications and the treatments that go with them. And as the services get better, we make them more affordable, we'll have more Trump babies.
Yeah, and we hope that that lays the groundwork so that anyone has an ability to receive these. And also remember, this is all on moms.gov as well.
Lady dressing like the wives from The Handmaid's Tale is just a bit on the nose. Like, what the, wait, whoa, dude, why are you dressed like the fucking, the wives of the commanders in The Handmaid's Tale? What are you doing? Like, yo, come on. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to be hiding what you're doing. Did you know that Trump knows about the resurrection drug? There's like a drug and it'll rise from the dead. Check this out.
10 years, by the way, we think we've cut it in half, but you do need a period of time. Without waiting many years, we know the drug works because we've taken people that were dead. We had a person given the last rites, gone. The kids are crying and started them on this drug, and the person became better. It works, and some don't work. But you learn really fast. It's called the ultimate test, I think, right? They test all these things. They use animals all over the place. They use everything to test. Person's going to die. So,
what drug is he talking about? You die and then it brings you back? That's crazy. That's like sorcery or fucking, it's demonic. I mean, I don't care. Like, whatever. You can bring back people from the dead, like, whatever. Maybe we can do that instead of worrying about a birth rate. Just make it so nobody can die. Anyway, so we're going to probably watch, if we're on late tonight for red light, we're going to watch some of this Rededicate 250. Also, in case you can hear that'll be if my voice will allow us to go super late tonight. But Rededicate 250 is coming, and here's Robert Jeffers and Ted Starnes talking about it. This is a bit of a longer clip. We probably aren't going to play the whole thing, but who knows? We're not long on time like we usually are. So maybe. Great websites these people have here, by the way. Videos always work perfectly.
Dr. Robert Jeffers, pastor of the First Baptist Church in Dallas. By the way, his latest book, Jesus Revealed in the End Times, Hope for Today from the One Who Holds Our Future. It is a great read. Dr. Jeffers, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Glad to see that you're looking well, too, Todd. Glad you're doing well.
Well, thank you. Dr. Jeffers, we have a great, in Memphis, we're home to some great hospitals, but we have the Baptist hospital system, and they do a great job when it comes to cardiac care. And I figure if I'm going to go around my people, and they did a good job of getting me patched up.
Did you get the drug maybe that Trump was talking about?
Well, hopefully you're not going anytime soon.
No, I'm going to stick around a little bit longer. I'm having to switch over to Dr. Jeffers. Let me tell you something. I've had to visit parts of the supermarket I did not know existed.
You mean like where the vegetables are?
Oh, well, that's the downside, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Dr. Jeffers. It is. Well, I want to talk about this great event this weekend. I know the last time we had you on, you teased it, and this is really a special moment, and I'm wondering why this moment is important to the health of the country.
Well, we are calling it's called Rededicate 250, and it's interesting that exactly 250 years ago on this coming Sunday, it was May 17th, 1776, when the American colonies were on the brink of a war against the British Empire, that the Second Continental Congress called America to a day of fasting, a day of prayer, a time of repentance, and yes, a time for boldly asking for God's help in defeating our enemies. I mean, the men who called for this, they were men who loved their country and they loved Jesus Christ. Today, they would be called Christian nationalists, but they would never have allowed that label to deter them. They were proud of their love for God. They were proud of their love for their country, but they also believed that their faith compelled them to admit that The strength of our country did not rest on the numbers in our armies, but on the strength of our God. And so picking up on this theme, President Trump, in planning a year of jubilee and celebration on our 250th anniversary, thought it was important.
Jubilee, like all the debts are getting forgiven, or not like that?
Set aside a day to rededicate ourselves to God. And that's what this Sunday is about. It's about rededicating our lives individually to God and together as a nation. You know, Benjamin Franklin said one time, "The longer I live, the more convincing proof I see that God governs the affairs of men. If a sparrow can't fall to the ground without his notice, how can an empire rise without his aid? Except the Lord build the house, those who labor in vain." And that's the spirit of this Sunday. We are coming together to individually and collectively as a nation say, we need God.
Sounds terrible. We're probably going to watch a live stream of it later. So, it's really weird that those people that he thinks were like would be called Christian nationalists, they wrote the First Amendment with the Establishment Clause and the Free Exercise Clause and all that. That's weird, actually. Here's Christian nationalist preacher Dale Partridge saying that Christian men must run for office because you know what we have a shortage of is Christian men in office in this country.
We need solid Christian men, like the founders, like the people that were in office in the first 100 years of our nation. We have to remember that if we refuse to run, someone else will. Often a woman from India or some or another foreign culture. And she's going to work to colonize your community and steal your children's inheritance for the glory of their pagan god.
She's going to colonize your community. I mean, I don't know. Fucking, payback is payback. What the fuck? Revenge is a dish best served cold, sir. Revenge is a dish best served cold. Up next, shout out to Lance from the Surfs for this clip. Here's Matt Walsh explaining slavery, I guess. Oh, jeez. We're almost to red light, folks, I promise.
He owned 63 slaves, making him one of the biggest slave owners in the region. During the Civil War, he and his sons made substantial donations to the Confederate government, but what makes Allison remarkable is that he was a black man.
Yeah, I'm sure, but that's not William Allison. That's Toussaint Louverture. Louverture was a anti-slavery revolutionary. He killed slavers.
In total, an estimated 3,000 blacks owned roughly 20,000 slaves in 1860.
This figure seems to have its origins in a Facebook meme. I'm not fucking kidding. Which Louis Jacobson of PolitiFact tried to fact-check in 2017, but couldn't because he couldn't trace it back to any sort of evidence.
At the very height of slavery, there were 393,975 slave owners in the U.S. out of a total population of over 31 million. That translates to about 1.2% of the population. The vast majority of American whites never owned any slaves.
Because it was illegal for the vast majority of American whites at this point. He's using the 1860 census and the total population of the United States. At this time, the United States was famously divided into states where slavery was legal and states where it was not. The majority of the population of the United States lived in free states, which skews the statistic quite a bit. If you only look at slave owners in slave-owning states, you get a much different percentage. According to Professor of History Dana Ramey-Berry, approximately 25% of all Southern households owned slaves. But it is possible that he had seen this figure on Facebook and just remembered it and put it in the script. Some page numbers are cited so wrong there's no natural explanation for it. No other additions and no typo could reasonably have produced that citation, leading me to believe the page number was hallucinated by the large language model. Sometimes pages are cited and sometimes they're not, with no rhyme or reason as to why that is, possibly indicating that the citations aren't being done by an individual with a specific style or approach to citations. One citation cites the book summary, which appears on stores where you can buy the book but doesn't appear inside the book itself. It's possible the large language model makes no distinction between the back of the book summary and the contents of a book. Some quotes are optimized, moving text around for no discernible reason, or changing words for no discernible reason, in the way a large language model sometimes does. One illustration meant to represent the black slave owner William Ellison is clearly an AI-generated image trained on or based on an illustration of the Haitian revolutionary Toussaint Louverture.
This is fucking fantastic. Matt Walsh is such an idiot. I don't have time to do that, but I'm glad people do. I'm glad people have the time to do that. And shout out to that is Freda. Shout out to Freda for doing that. We got two more. We got Crowder, Steven Crowder. We don't cover him much, mostly because this whole thing has just been kind of sad since his wife left him. But he's going to talk about remigration and how it's, I don't know, good, bad. I think good.
Let me address one thing here. Systematically replaced by immigrant. I don't care about the intent. Now, I do believe that there is intent. Why? Because they've said it. Not all, though. Many leftist leaders have said, yeah, you need to change these demographics. For example, you saw that ad in Germany where they were having a threesome with an African, I believe, migrant or Middle Eastern. You saw those ads from Denmark.
A threesome? All right, cool.
You actually shouldn't marry or procreate with people of your own race.
If you're
that's
white.
Racist. If you're white.
Only if you're white.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are plenty of people who have said you need to change the racial demographics because these nations are too white. That's some of them. You can't prove that there's a cabal and that all of the people involved are pushing this proactively. I don't care. Intent doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It is happening. That's a statistical reality. So let's get off you're saying replacement theory, which is a white supremacy. You know what? No, I'm just saying that numbers are shifting and white people are being replaced.
White? No. I'm a white guy. If a person who isn't white moves to my neighborhood, they didn't replace me. They just live here too.
Percentage, white Christian percentage going down, Islamic migrant, African migrants, non-white Anglo-Saxon migrants going up. In some countries, it's already hit a tipping point. That is a statistical reality, just like you don't need to make the racial argument primarily or the intent of crime. Just point to crime statistics. These are what they are. Do not blame me.
So no, this replacement theory is really dumb because there's more white people on this planet than there have ever been. There's more white people in the USA than there's ever been. So he was talking about statistics. The statistics just don't bear this out. He's just a racist, which should surprise no one because it's fucking Steven Crowder. Here is, unfortunately, Rudy Giuliani survived his recent health scare. You know, we were hoping maybe that he would create another all-gender restroom similar to the one created by Henry Kissinger, but that didn't happen. So here's Rudy. He almost died. I guess he saw a ghost.
And I also had a very, very, I believe for me, a very significant spiritual experience at a time in which I was, I don't know, I'll have to officially find out from Dr. Maria if I don't think I was unconscious, but I was in a state of like, out of it. And so I would equate it to a dream of my being online, headed for, I can't say headed for heaven, headed for a trial, I think, with St. Peter. And there was a very, very significant intervention by my people.
Sir, if you believe in heaven and hell, you're not going to the heaven one.
I have my own Peter. Peter Powers, Peter J. Powers, my friend of my lifetime, along with Monsignor Alan J. Plaka, whom I also had wonderful conversations. And Peter said some very significant words. And I made sure as soon as I woke up, I started telling people. And then I recorded it in part. Andrew recorded it. And I also, as soon as I could, wrote it out so that I wouldn't forget it. And it's meant a lot to me. And I've been reflecting on it quite a bit. And I do want to have the right time to describe it correctly. I don't want to embellish it. I don't want to deny what was there. But it was very, and I did shortly after get a chance to discuss it with a wonderful, wonderful priest. He spent about an hour and a half.
God, that poor priest that had to spend an hour and a half listening to Rudy tell him about the fucking ghost he saw while he was like asleep and hallucinating while he was sick. Oh man, What a patient individual that priest must have been. Anyway, that's the regular news portion of the show. And Red Light, we got Scientologist Grant Cardone on how to get rich with AI. We have Andrew Tate was set up actually by fucking who knows who. Blake Horowitz of Geophyte, which is a fucking anti-chemtrails thing, seems like he's having a normal one. Little Nikki Fuentes is like really mad. There's like a drought of racist content. But little Nikki Fuentes also hopes that Chud the Builder goes to prison because, you take out the competition however you take out the competition. Alex Jones has coverage of a supposed CIA whistleblower about the COVID being replaced. And then dumbfuck Tim Pool on the hantavirus. And then we're going to watch a nightmare panel. Should we abolish all podcasts? That's Michael Tracy, Brett Weinstein, and Laura Loomer, I believe. So that's going to be the fucking highlight of the week, isn't it? Anyway, if you're listening on the podcast, you made it all the way to the end. Actually, it's less than an hour and a half, so I hope you made it all the way to the end. Do check out the live show sometime, twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. You can support this project at patreon.com/Echoplex or at eplex.store. And, if you're tuned in live, you know the drill. Stay put. I'm going to change the color of the lights here, change the contents of my beverage, and we'll be back with Red Light. This, as always, is Boomers by Periscope.
Should you pay?